You know, imagine trying to sell ice to someone in the middle of a blizzard. Sounds impossible, right? Well, that's kind of what we're diving into today. We're heading way up to Alaska to break down a marketing campaign that takes on one of the toughest sells you can imagine, convincing people to replace their windows in the dead of winter.
So this is the message you'd hear on the radio or see on TV if you were in Anchorage. It's so simple, so direct, and it seems like a total contradiction. Stay warm, it says, by what? Opening up your house to the freezing cold for an installation? It is a seriously bold pitch, and let me tell you, there is a brilliant strategy behind it.
So the company behind all this is Neighbors Windows and Doors, a local Alaskan business. And as we're about to see from their own strategy documents, these ads aren't just some simple holiday promotion. Nope, they are a precise, carefully calculated plan designed to win in a very, very tough environment. And that really is the million-dollar question we're unpacking, isn't it? How on earth do you take a season that should be your biggest weakness and flip it into your greatest strength? Well, the answer is all about understanding the market, the customer, and who you are as a company.
Okay, so first up, we have to get the lay of the land, the competitive landscape, because this isn't just a battle against the cold weather. It's a classic David versus Goliath story.
So in one corner, you've got Neighbors. They're a local Anchorage business. They make their own stuff right there in-house, and they're celebrating their 20th season. And in the other corner, you've got Renewal by Andersen, a massive national corporation with its headquarters way down in Minnesota, serving all of Alaska. We're talking two very different players here. And wow, this bar chart, it tells you everything you need to know about the difference in scale. On the left, you see Renewal by Andersen, with just a mountain of online reviews, which makes sense given their huge national footprint. And then way over on the right, that much, much smaller bar, that's Neighbors. So it's pretty clear that trying to compete on sheer size or brand recognition, that's a losing battle. They have to play smarter.
All right, so let's pop the hood and get into their actual blueprint for success. How exactly does Neighbors turn the brutal Alaskan winter into a strategic advantage? Well, believe it or not, it all kicks off with timing. And right away, the timing is completely counterintuitive. They launched this whole campaign on January 5th, right after the holidays. The big push is to get customers to sign on the dotted line by spring. But why? Well, it's all about getting ahead of that short, chaotic summer building season in Alaska. This way, customers get their project done early, and they get to actually enjoy their summer project-free. Okay, and this is where the strategy gets really, really smart. Their planning document doesn't just identify one target customer, it identifies two of them living in the same house. You've got the husband, who they see as the practical guy who makes the final purchase, and then you have his wife, who they call the primary instigator. And get this, they have totally different motivations.
And check this out, this quote pulled right from their strategy just absolutely nails it. They understood that to even get the ball rolling on a project like this, they needed to lead with an emotional appeal. It wasn't about our values and technical specs right out of the gate.
And you can see that insight play out perfectly in the actual ads. The language is all about the feeling of keeping warm and the aesthetic appeal of a door that can match your style. It's all about comfort, feeling safe, and having pride in your home. That's a direct line to the primary instigator.
But they didn't forget the other half of the puzzle. Once that idea is planted, their strategy doc is crystal clear. For the person who's actually gonna sign the check, price is a major consideration. So after you've made that emotional connection, you have to follow up with a logical, can't-say-no offer.
And here it is, the logical knockout punch. This is the offer designed specifically for that final decision maker. And they're not just offering a simple discount, they're stacking the value. You're getting a free upgrade to better windows, you get $250 off installation for each one, and you get zero interest financing. It's just a powerful stack of logical reasons that makes saying yes a whole lot easier.
So, they've got their timing down, they've tailored their message perfectly to that dual audience, but their most powerful weapon against a national giant? It's something that just can't be copied. It's their identity.
You hear this line again and again in their ads, and thank you for buying local. It sounds so simple, but that little phrase is loaded with meaning. It's not just a sign-off, it's the absolute core of their brand and their biggest competitive edge.
And behind that phrase, you've got 2 decades of history. 20 seasons in Alaska. That means you get the community, you definitely get the climate, and you've built a real reputation for being a neighbor you can count on. That is a powerful statement of trust right there.
And what's crucial is that it's not just talk. It's not an empty slogan. Their own strategy document shows how they back it up with real action, supporting a whole range of local causes, everything from youth outreach and veterans groups to motorcycle safety. This is the real, tangible proof that they're part of the community fabric.
And that, right there, is their ultimate advantage. A company based thousands of miles away in Minnesota can say they serve Alaska, but they can't authentically claim this deep-seated community identity. Suddenly, buying local becomes a powerful emotional and rational reason to choose Neighbors.
Okay, so let's bring it all home. What are the big takeaways from this incredible Alaskan marketing plan? What can the rest of us learn from a strategy designed to sell warmth in the bitter cold?
You know, it really boils down to 3 core pillars. First, know your customers. And I mean really know them, down to the different roles people play in a single decision. Second, you gotta craft an offer that speaks to both the heart and the head, emotion and logic. And third, leverage what makes you, you. In this case, turning a local identity into a powerful, authentic advantage.
What this whole campaign really shows is that even when you're the little guy up against giant competitors and what seem like totally impossible market conditions, a deep understanding of your customer and your community can help you create a strategy that doesn't just survive, but actually thrives.
And it leaves us with this one big question to chew on. In a world that's increasingly dominated by massive global brands, this case study from the Alaskan winter really makes you wonder, maybe deep, authentic, local knowledge isn't just an advantage anymore. Maybe it's the ultimate weapon.